wanted to talk about the Errol Spence Pacquiao fight. I think it's kind of interesting for a number of reasons. One of which is if I used to think Pacquiao. I made in the past. I've made comments about you know Pacquiao not being that great a fighter or something. Though that's I was wrong. Um, but uh, he at this point. Um, in his career, he looked good by beating Thurman, and so now he fights, and now he's fighting Spence, and you know I listened to a lot of predictions on this fight, and a lot of people said that um, it's not going to go the distance, that one of these guys is going to stop the other. Um, Look, if it's Pacquiao that comes out, and I don't think that it will be, but if it's Pacquiao that comes out on the winning side from a stoppage or a knockout, which I don't know. I don't think is going to happen. Could, but I don't think so. Um, then all it does is validate Floyd's win over him even more because people said, well, Floyd waited for him to get older so that he wasn't as capable, and then he fought him, and then he beat him. You know, like I said, the better Pacquiao looks now, the more Floyd's win is validated. Uh, so Floyd doesn't lose in this, and with all this talk lately, with Oscar talking about a comeback and not talking, I guess now he's really working out and really trying to make it happen. Um, but look, Pacquiao, I always say I like to call him the Tasmanian Devil because he's gonna come at you, he's gonna bring it. And where I lacked appreciating him for what he is in the past, I see now that he sets traps. Um, if Floyd did not have an easy night with him. It you know Normally Floyd lets people come at him. Maybe absorbs a few punches in the beginning and either strategically allows his other fighter to wear themselves out and then systematically breaks them down over the second half of the fight. Um, but with Pacquiao, it's hard to get that systematic breakdown going because he keeps coming at you and he keeps setting traps and he remains dangerous. Throughout to the end of the fight, and that's why I think a lot of people are saying that this fight won't go the distance. Um, you know, the, Everybody knows the name Pacquiao, probably all over the world. Errol Spence, while he's extremely talented, and I've watched a few of his fights. Um, I don't know. I question how many people really know him. Um, So I think that that's part of the reason why Spence took this fight, um, to gain some notoriety, and Pacquiao, is looking to be whatever his motivations are. He needs to make money, but I credit him. He fights the best fighters, and I think he wants to be on top. I think he's always wanted that top spot that Floyd has, and you know, and more power to him. If his health allows him to uh, be in a position where he can fight effectively, then I say why not? You know, I know there's always risk to it. There's risk to everything in life. Um, uh, you use the talents God gave you while you can still use them. And do something with it. Um, but I don't know. I think that It's interesting. I mean, I think we'll come to better if Spence wins this, then we will definitely come to better appreciate Spence even more. The boxing community already does. They already understand what he is, know what he understand him. But I think the worldwide picture will come to better the audience, worldwide audience, casual boxing fan, people who just want something to talk about. They'll come to appreciate him uh, also. Um, and that'll be good for him. Man, that'll be good for because we want to see the best fighters fighting, and and it will be good for him because he'll accept fights. He can make more money, and people will want to fight him more because there's more money to be made. But I don't quite know what to make of the Danny Garcia. I really thought Garcia was gonna uh, be more of a challenge for Errol Spence. Maybe the pandemic had something to do with it, the irregularity, the awkwardness of the whole situation. I don't know. I mean, it's really just an excuse, but maybe he allowed that to uh, affect him. I don't know. But maybe he's just not that hungry. I mean, that's probably what it is. He's at a stage where he's made some money now, and sure, more money is wonderful. But is he gonna is he gonna really risk it all a lot at this stage? Hmm. Maybe that fight showed that wasn't willing to. He isn't willing to do that. He saw those dollar signs, and you know, I guess. But well, I mean, we'll see. He's still young. He can still fight. Um, we'll see what happens. But I liked what I heard Thurman have to say about making sure you do when you fight Pacquiao is get your numbers up because uh, Pacquiao's numbers are going to be up. But you know that. And if if you can't knock him out, and he's not someone that's easy to knock out, um, uh, so you either have to have your numbers up or knock him out, and or be really uh, like Floyd, very effective with your punches. You have to, I mean, your punches have to land and land clean, and there can't be any doubt about how effective the punch was. You got to see your neck snap back, bodies buckle, when you throw your punches on him, or else he's got a good chance to beat you by decision if it goes the distance but we'll see. We'll see. I think Errol's gonna pull this one out. I do. Uh, I think maybe age is. I mean, even though we didn't see it against Thurman, but I think Errol's and he's he's an interesting guy to me because whereas Floyd was just super fast, step in, barrage, step back out, barrage. Land like what he did against my favorite all time fighter Arturo Gatti. Just step in, pummeled him, stepped out. Um, you know, I don't see Spence doing that kind of stuff. He's more kind of like how Mayweather is now or was as Mayweather, after he fought Oscar, where he's kind of become this guy who kind of, you know, uh, slow appearance of a slow start, but he's really just sort of absorbing his opponent, and to timing and allowing them to wear themselves out and protecting himself. Spence sort of fights that way too, and then he'll step on the gas at some point, but you know he sort of he's kind of it seems to me like he's more that way at this earlier part in his career, and whereas if Floyd wasn't like he was, and now Floyd is even different, than he was. Then even now more, he's more into power hits and such, as he's gotten into the next stage of his career. Because by no means, don't listen to what he says. This is all bullshit. He's not done fighting. He's gonna fight these guys again, and that I mean, I'm hoping that it's worth. I hope age doesn't affect it too much, the quality of the fight. But I think him and Oscar will fight again. If Oscar can, keep his pants on and what I mean by that is just stay focused on the fight. And he's always has all this other drama going on, and 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 if he could just minimize the bullshit and really, like, the kind of Oscar I want to see, at least focus wise, okay, was when he fought Fernando Vargas. I mean, there was so much shit talking before that fight, not really from Oscar's side, but from Vargas, the usual what Vargas would deliver. And I'd take nothing away from Vargas. I like him, but it was all this who's the real Mexican bullshit and all that kind of stuff going on before the fight, and Oscar was for the most part quiet. And I mean, he came out ripped, loped, and just took care of business in the ring with him. And again, one of the greatest fights entertainment wise that I remember, and and I don't want to take it. I'm not taking anything away from anybody. I love Fernando Vargas. I loved watching his fights and liked that he was, he probably took some of the better fights a little bit too early. He was a little bit too uh, rambunctious, if you will, but and maybe could have done a little better with his career. But he did what he thought was right at the right time. Who are we, any of us, to judge? But and left us with great memories of his fight against Tito and um, so. But again, I think that there will be future fights between Oscar and Floyd and you know so again, I just think that this will be very interesting. Pacquiao's got nothing to lose. If he loses, he'll just do the same thing again. He'll take a few more fights where he'll take a warm up fight and then he'll take a fight against a legitimate contender and he might win again and then he'll get put back in the main stage again. I mean, he'll just do it again. He did it before and now he's doing it and he's doing it. And so I mean, he looks really good. Still looks super fast and um I'm excited for the fight. I think it's going to be cool. Uh So we'll see. But I think probably we'll by the end of this fight, uh we'll either, Pacquiao will just become like this, it will almost force a rematch. If he wins, it'll force a rematch with Floyd, because then people will really start to say that Pacquiao. There'll just be a lot of talk about Pacquiao and how, at this stage in his career, he has beaten some of the top younger fighters, and so Floyd will. The money, everything, the talk, the hype will all be enough there for Floyd to take another rematch with him, because we know that's what Pacquiao wants. Because Pacquiao wants he wants that top spot that Floyd commands, and so and we'll talk about that fight in the future. What if that should come about, and what I think might happen. But and then so there you go. It's a no lose situation for Pacquiao. He can't lose here. He gets this fight, makes the money. If he wins, holy moly, the doors that'll reopen for him. And if he loses, like I said, he'll just go back and do it again. He'll just give him one fight, warm up fight, next fight, legitimate contender. If he beats them again, he'll be right back where he is now. So, and like I said, for Errol, it'll open up doors for him because this fight against Pacquiao is going to put eyes on him that probably don't even know who he is now. So, it's a win for everybody, and I think that's why the fight is going down.